All right, so it's it's 6:30. I hope that's what time I put on the thumbnail. I was kind of cramming everything together. We'll see if anybody shows up. Then make sure I put the time I put on there. Oh, give me just a second, guys. I am just making sure I didn't mess anything up here. Looks like everything is running. Yep. Let me see here. Yeah, I guess I got it right. We'll pretend I did anyway. We'll pretend I did. So guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was out here all night last night working on designs for a pigeon feeder that I'm designing to be cut from laser material for a buddy of mine, and I didn't share anything, and I kind of felt guilty about it. But I had, he was over here, and we were kind of working out the details of the design. And then tonight, I'm going to be working on another design, and just to give you an idea of what I'm wanting to do. And there are these things are out there, guys. They're pretty common. So if you don't want to make your file, there's plenty of places that you can get it from. But this is my little phone charger stand that I use here in the shack, and you can tell it's in the shack because it's dusty. All right, this one's a proximity charger, just a little cheap one, and I use it out here in the shop. Well, my wife wants me to basically recreate something that will do this, but do a laser design, and they're all over the place. They're all over Etsy. So I'm just going to take this one, and I've kind of used the dimensions from this little guy. And the first step, guys, to coming up with a design. This is the very first step. We're gonna walk this through. I apologize for you guys that's been doing this for a long time. The very first thing before you can design anything for your laser is you have to come up with an idea. Which this one was gift to me. Brady said, "Hey, you should make some of these for gifts for the teachers for my daughter." Instead of going out and buying something, this will be something original. I can customize it. It'll be cool. Maybe they'll like it. They can either use it at the office at school, or they can take it home, or whatever. But once you have an idea of what you want to make, then you got to get out your drawing board, guys. And now you see why I use lasers and computers. My drawings are not real skilled. So, but you just need an idea, okay? Get your basic dimensions, write it down. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just write it down so that you have an idea of how you're going to tackle this, okay? And I'll get to the questions in just a second. I want to lay this out there while it's on my mind, guys, because y'all know I'll squirrel and I will lose it and I'll never mention it. And some of you new guys will be hating on me because I forgot to tell you this. So we're gonna go through this first. So once you had an idea and you've written it down, then you got to figure out what are you gonna make it out of. Okay. So if you're using a laser, of course you're gonna want to pick something that's suitable for your laser. If you're using a 10 watt, you might want to go a little thinner. Just to make it easier on yourself. A 20, 30, just pick your material based on the capabilities of your machine. Now, not to say you can't do any material with any machine, because you can cut the same things with a 10 watt as you can with other machines. Maybe not as fast, but you can. So I decided for this job, I'm going to use some of this Revolution plywood that I got from Lowe's. And this is not my favorite material, guys. Don't think, oh, Clark said this is the greatest stuff. That's not true. I don't use it for anything else. I bought it for a video for you guys, and it's in the shop. And I'm out of 16 by 16s, but I had a pile of 16 by 16s of this white sanded Revolution ply, and I did drop a link in the. If you scroll all the way to the top of the comments, there should be a link to this stuff if you want to look at it. Now, full disclosure, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's sturdy wise. It's sturdy. It's gonna hold stuff. Cutting, it does okay. It's a little stubborn. Engraving, the one thing that I will say about this stuff for engraving is it does get a little dusty. Like, so if this is something that you're not going to paint or you're not going to sand or clean, you're going to want to probably not run air assist real heavy because it does create a lot of soot and it can stain itself. So once you do that, once you decide this is the material I'm going to use, do this. All right. Know your settings before you start. Know your settings. So that's what I did when I decided I was going to do this live. Is I went ahead and did my settings, my power settings for the machine. We'll be using the Rolly because it's cool. It's a new machine. I'm still playing with it, still testing it. So running it through the paces. But yeah, those are the first things. Idea. Write it down. little sketch. Choose your material. Once you choose your material and your machine, if you have multiple, then power and speed test. That's critical, guys. Critical. If you want to succeed at this, this is critical. So, anyway, before we start designing, I want to go through here, see who all showed up now that we got the boring part out of the way, and just catch up with everybody. So bear with me for you guys that are eager to learn, if you are either just eager to see me mess up, and we'll get to that in just a second. But let me scroll these comments real quick and see who all's here, and make sure there's no questions I need to get to. Hello, Daryl, Vince, Vince. All right, Chicago Bob. Yeah, if you hadn't hit the thumbs up, guys, do that, please. Because I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm being lazy tonight. I was going to try to cram a video together with the rolling, but I didn't feel like doing a lot of editing. I didn't feel like setting the camera up, moving the camera. So I was just like, you know what? I need to be working on this design, so I'm going to do that and just share it with you guys. So we'll that's what we're going to do. Hello, Robert, Daryl, Chicago Bob, Dale, Getty, Mark Bingham. Some of you guys I recognize the name. Some of you I may not. If I don't recognize your name, it's probably because you haven't commented in the lives a lot, or I just don't have a real good memory. One of the two. But either way, I try to give everybody a shout when I can. Nathan R, thanks for doing it. Hey, anytime, Nathan. Like I said, I'm learning just like you guys are. And there's another thing, too. If you think I'm not going to mess up in this video, you're mistaken. I would be shocked if I make it through this entire video and I don't goof something up on lightburn. So don't be afraid to try stuff just because you're not great at it. I'm not great at it either. So that's the cool thing is you got to just, the best way to learn, get in here, get your hands dirty. Or well, not necessarily get your hands dirty, but you know, you get the idea. Hello, Carl from Missouri. Jack, what's up, Jack? See, Jack's got skills. See, he's just in here for entertainment because he knows what he's doing for sure. And then you got Hobo down there. Like, Hobo is like, he built a gumball machine that I don't have the patience for that, nor do I have the mental concept to even draw that up. You see what this looks like. Imagine me trying to build a gumball machine. But anyway, so that's pretty much everything. Like I said, I didn't plan on this being a blockbuster. I was just out here working in the shop, and I needed to put something out. I don't want YouTube to think that I've quit. But last night I was working on the pigeon feeder, which is being tested today to see if the pigeons will actually eat out of it. They're kind of scared birds, so they didn't do a whole lot of eating out of it tonight because they were scared to stick their heads in it. But we're going to leave it in the pen for a day or two and see if tomorrow if they'll eat out of it. To make sure that I don't need to adjust my file a little bit. But that'll be in a video, but it just won't be a design video. Just got the H or P2 24. Well, cool. Glad you got it. Hope you like it. They're Pennsylvania hillbilly art. I guess that means you're close to Pennsylvania and Kentucky, maybe, or from. I don't know. Names get me. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And I've got my sketch. I'm going to go go ahead and lay everything out. So I'm going to move you guys over to lightburn. You won't get to see this. Sorry. But you'll be able to hear me. I want you to be able to see the whole screen. So I'm going to move you down to lightburn, and we're going to get started throwing the basic parts of this thing together. This is going to be really simple. It's not going to be a gumball machine. I don't want to let everybody down, but it will kind of give you, and I'm going to try to use some of the different tools and kind of point to you and show you what I'm doing when I do stuff. If I forget to tell you what it is I'm doing, y'all can throw a comment up. Maybe I'll see it and can remember. But I usually do pretty good about mentioning what I'm doing. So we'll see. Like I said, but there will be mistakes made. Promise you. So here we go. Down to the screen. All right, so as you can see, I've got me another piece of 16 by 16 Whitewood. Is sanded. I did put a link in the description of the video or in the comments of the video earlier for the material. If you want to grab that, I think I also put it in the description on YouTube. And like I said, I'm not telling you this is the best wood ever, guys. I'm just telling you that's what I'm using, okay? It does okay, but it's not exactly my favorite. But for this job, it'll do good. So, according to my sketch right here, I am going to have one piece that is going to be approximately And I'm just going to throw this. I am doing my rough sketch here to kind of give myself an idea what everything's going to look like. So it's going to be roughly 90 millimeters wide and 160 tall. All right, this is going to be the flat part, the back of the apparatus here. And then on my other part, of course, is basically, I can just copy. I can select this one, duplicate, and I can slide that over. I'm doing some of this stuff, guys, just to show you some of the functions. So I'll slide that over. And the reason I did that is because these two pieces kind of need to be the same width for this design, but this one only needs to be 100 tall. So how you would go about that, click this one and just go over here and make sure that the lock here is unlocked, because if not, it's going to change the width. Change that to 100, make it 100 tall. And basically that's the two pieces, so to speak, that I'm going to be cutting out, but we're going to have to do a lot of work to kind of clean this up. So the concept that I'm going by is going to be that this piece here is going to basically go through this piece out the back like a little kickstand, and it's going to hold it up. And then we're going to clean this up and maybe even throw some designs on here and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do. So this piece here, like I said, this is going to be the leg that's going to go out the back. And if you want to spruce it up, make it look cool, the way that I would do that, because first of all, like, this piece can't be as wide as this if I'm going to insert it through there. So I've got to decide how big I want the little slot to be. I do know from my calculations that it needs to be about 25 millimeters off of the base in order to give me the right angle. So what I'm going to do, and this is where the assignment tool line comes in handy. You create a tool little box right here, set it to a tool line, and then what I'm going to do is the height that I want to space this, I'm going to change this height. I don't care about the width. I'm just using this as basically this is my little virtual measuring tool, and I'm going to take it down here to the bottom. My OCD is going to make me get it at least close to the same size as this one. So, and I'm going to zoom in right here all the way down. All right, that's 25 millimeters. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, and I've got my arrow keys configured to do 1 millimeter pushes when I use it by itself. If I hold shift, it's going to move it 1/10 of a millimeter. If I hold control, it's going to move it 1,000th. And you can't hardly see it move when I do that. So what I'll do is I'll use the arrow keys to move it 1 millimeter increments. Then I'll use shift until I get it to where it's overshooting it and get it as close as I can. And then I'm going to zoom all the way down to here to where I can, like, literally, you can't zoom any further. I'm going to hold control, which makes it move 1,000th of a millimeter. And I'm just going to line that guy up with that line. And now I know the top of this tool line right here is 25 millimeters, because that's how tall over here the thing is. It's 25 millimeters from the bottom edge of my material. So if I put my other cut here, that's going to make it where I want it. So tool lines are your friend. But the next step that we're going to have, because I'm wanting to put a piece through here, guys, and I'm going to go back to the camera for a second for some of you guys that maybe don't know about this. The next thing that I got to know is how thick's the material, because if I'm going to make a hole, because the idea here is that one piece is going to sit like this, and the other piece is going to go through it and kind of end up like a leg. So in order to make this piece go through it, I need to make a hole that it'll fit through, but I don't want it sloppy. So the way I do that, and this is not an expensive caliber, it is metal. This is more expensive than the first one I had, but it's still an Amazon caliber that is not really great, but I find that for what I do, it works. And so I'm going to measure this, and you can see it's 4.76 millimeters is what these are saying that this thing is. Now, there are going to be some things such as your kerf of cut and so forth that's going to come into play, but the Rolly's kerf is really, really tight, and I don't want this thing to have to be hammered together. So I'm going to go with 4.8. We'll do 4.8. If that's too loose in the prototype, we can always back that up, but I'm going to go with 4.8 because I want it to be able to be easily taken apart and put in a drawer or something if I don't want to use it. So we're going to go with 4.8 on our thickness of our material, and back down to lightburn we go. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised Kat's not behind me with her leg up over her head. She does that sometimes. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to create another cut line. I'm going to go ahead and change this down here. If you don't know, guys, these are all different layers. You can pre-assign settings to these so that you can keep them for, whatever purpose. Black and red are my two go-to. Black, blue, and red are my go-tos. This is engraved, this is a line, and this is a cut. So that's what I do. I use red for cuts. It just, to me, I can see the red and I know that that's going to be a cut. So what you're going to do there, I'm going to put this box in here, but I've got to go up here and make sure my height is set to 4.8. I don't really care about the width at this point. I'm just going to kind of get it down here. And again, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use my arrow keys, moving at 1 millimeter increments until I get it close to my line right there. But as you can see, 1 millimeter increments is way more than I need. So I'm going to start right here because it's closer. I'm going to hold shift, which is going to shift me over to 1/10 of a millimeter until I line that up. And like I said, this is not a box file where everything's got to be perfect, but I'm OCD. I like for my stuff to match and be where I want it. So I know that this box here, because it is 25 millimeters, has got me a 25 millimeter standoff from the bottom of the burn. And that's just a tool line. It's not going to burn. It's not going to cut. So that's cool. Now, for the width, 70's a good width, I think. I'm going to click this inner square first. I'm going to press Control on the keyboard. I'm going to hold Control, and then I want to click on this guy. And what that does is basically it tells it that I want to move this piece in reference to this piece. Whichever one, when you click first and then you hold Control and click another piece, whichever piece you click first is the piece that's going to be affected by this move. So if you don't want this outer piece to move, you have to make sure you click the inner piece first. And then we'll go up here to the alignment tools, and I'm going to align this vertically centered, and it's going to shift it over into the center of the outer box, just like that. So now I know that this piece here and this line are both on the same center. And we'll go over here. This little button right here, like, auto frames your workspace for you, in case you didn't know that. It's a really, really nice button to have. So before I go any further, I kind of want to spruce this guy up. I don't like just the square. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to the side. This is the radius tool. And I want some pretty wide radiuses. I'm going to go ahead and, I think I'm going to go 20 on the radius. And then come back over here and I'm going to select this guy. And you'll get this crosshair. And when you get this crosshair, all you have to do is click the corners. And when you click the corner, it's automatically going to round it for you. And like that. So that's pretty awesome. I like that angle. And I can go over here, and this piece here, I can actually do the same thing as well. Well, no need of doing this piece yet. We've got to trim that. I'm getting ahead of myself. See, there it is, guys. I told you there would be mistakes made. So I can go over here and I can click that one. I'll go ahead and do the front, because I can do the front, but I've got to trim. This part needs to be 70 millimeters to fit through this hole. So we're gonna leave that for right now. So, all right, get my little realignment button. So this is 70 millimeters wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate that because I'm lazy. And I'm going to move the one I duplicated over here. And I'm just going to drag this guy through here. And this piece that I've got, that I drew first, that's the height that I wanted. So I'm just going to use that as a guide. And what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to, like we showed a while ago, I'm going to click this one first. I'm going to hold Control, click the outside one, and I'm going to align them vertically. All right, so basically now this square is the same as this hole, which will permit it, if I cut it, for this piece to go through here. But what I'm going to do now is, because I want to get everything lined up, the way I want it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this little guy, I'm going to select this, and I'm just going to decrease the size of this shape and give myself a little bit of, oh, it's messing my corners up, guys. See, mistakes were made. So I know what I'm going to do. Ha! Gotcha. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to flip it. Now my corners are on the other end, so this will make more sense. All right, so I'm going to take this outer box right here, and I'm just going to shrink this down until I get it to, about right there. Let's see, how high is that? It's about 24. I'll go ahead and make that 25 as well. Make it 25 tall. And that's still not going to fix my problem. Hang on. I'm going to duplicate that guy. Select that one. I'm going to flip it. And then I'm going to cheat. I'm going to hold control. I'm going to click that one. I'm going to hold control. I'm going to click that one. And I'm going to join them together and make it back square. So, little trick right there. When you mess up, instead of having to start all over, guys, you can actually flip those things and take those corners off. Yes, I've had to use that little trick quite a few times. So now I've got this piece that is going to be protruding out here. It's the same width as this outer piece. This piece will go through this hole right here and make everything fit together nicely. I'm going to confirm one more time before I go any further that these two pieces, by holding control and then clicking the other one, make sure these are vertically aligned, and they are. So once I do that, then you can actually, if you just want to join those two shapes, just draw a box around them, select them all. Over here on this left side, this is going to be your Boolean. This is a join, and I'm going to click that. So now it takes that piece and makes it into one. Now I can add my radiuses without them getting messed up, because I need flat corners back here to sit against this. All right. And I can even add them back here. So now this piece will basically slide through there and act as a foot. I don't know, Chris. Like I said, sometimes I do crazy stuff, but it works for me. Like I said, I am not the guru at this, guys. I know how to make things. I make my own stuff, but in no shape, form, or fashion am I the guru at this. I like to think that I can kind of halfway, let people know what it is I'm doing and kind of maybe teach you a little bit. But now I got to figure out what I want to do with this back. I don't want this back just boring, but I don't know that I want to do it with a square either, because that's going to mess up the structural integrity of my little piece. So I think I'm going to use circles for this design. And since we got this 25 millimeter theme going, let's just roll with it. Let's go with 25 by 25 circles. Ooh, that's going to make a big circle. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put me some circles in here. That way it kind of takes a little. Maybe I need to go bigger with my circle. Let's see here. Let me lock this. I'm going to lock the aspect ratio on that circle, guys. And the reason I am is so that I can change one side and it'll automatically adjust both. Like I said, I'm lazy. That's a little much. All right, we'll go with 40. How about that? Yeah, I like that. That looks nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little circle and I'm just going to use this guy. Basically, I'm just trying to keep this from just being a box. So I'm going to align that vertically just like we did the others. Man, I nailed that one on the get-go. So now I've got the two pieces. This should slide into that and all this jazz. So before I go any further, I like to make sure that I've got my basic layout working. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take and I'm going to group these guys. And I always recommend group your parts before you start moving them around, because if you don't, there's a chance that you could like move something and without moving the other and just mess up your whole design. All right, so I'm going to take this guy right here. And to kind of minimize waste, I'm going to kind of sit it right there. That's about as good as, well, now I've got a big piece of material, so we can actually do it this way. Put this guy in the corner. And then I'll take this guy, put it up here. About right there. I'm going to select both of those guys because I'm OCD. I'm going to align them vertically. Then I'm going to move them as far as I can get them over to my workspace, just to save material. And I've already got the material in there, so then what I'm going to do now is I'll show you the next part. So we're doing a cut, and I'm going to show you how to use these charts here we made. So, I'm dropping stuff, guys. Before we started the project, and if you weren't here for it, I did speed tests before I started this because I need to know what my speeds are. And so, looking at this and knowing what I know about wood, you do not want to go all the way up here as fast as it'll go, because let me let you into something on wood. Just because this little spot of wood cut at 10 millimeters a second, there's really good likelihood that if I do an entire big design at 10 millimeters a second, there's going to be a glue pocket, there's going to be a knot, there's going to be a void, there's going to be something that's going to cause me a problem if I run 10. 9 looks, because I did 2 rows, I changed my speed test and it did 2 rows, but 9 looks like a safe bet. So, especially for my prototype, I'm gonna also be testing my cut speeds. So I'm gonna run with 9, and you can see that's it's dropping it pretty clean at 9. If that doesn't seem to do it while I'm just doing my prototype to make sure my design is good, then we can always go down. So back to lightburn, guys. All right. So the tool line, of course, if you don't want to look at this thing, you can actually turn that off and you will not see your tool line. And after you've got your design done, there's really no need of having it. But trust me, keep them until you finalize your design, because you will find yourself going back and needing them. Speed wise, all right, this is a big point of contention with some people. I do not recommend that for diodes. I have found no useful time to use constant power on diode. CO2s, I have run into a couple of occasions where it did help, but I recommend turning that off. If you have the Rolly, which is a good machine, or you have any other machine that has automatic air assist, make sure to engage the air assist for the cut. Engraving, personal preference. I prefer it because it keeps my lens clean longer, but that's up to you. You will get a little bit more charring or, like stain around your cuts if you run air assist engraving, but to me, it doesn't bother me. So I'm changing my speed to 9 millimeters a second. I want to run the power at 100% because why have a 30-watt laser if I'm only going to use 20 of them? Doesn't make sense. And I have it on line. And for you that maybe haven't used lightburn or aren't used to lightburn, you have 3 different modes: line, fill, and offset fill. Offset fill, there are situations where you might want to use it, but pretty much line and fill are going to be your go-tos. Line is either going to draw a line, cut, and fill is going to engrave. That's pretty much the gist of it. There are times when you may want to use that, but if you're new to lightburn, don't worry about that right now. So 9 millimeters a second, 100% power, 1 pass, because that's all it takes, and we're ready to go. So back up here, I am going to frame first. I'm gonna hit the home button just to be sure. It's always not a bad idea just to hit the frame button. See, I wasn't at home. Now I did run a cut and it went to the park position, but you always want to make sure your machine's home. That way you don't get into limit switches or out of bounds or anything like that. Now I'm going to use the frame and I'm going to frame it. I already have my focus set for cutting because I run this a minute ago. So that's a step that I'm not going to be doing, but do remember, check your focus, set your focus. If all you have is this kind of plywood and what you've been using, then you're probably good, but not a bad idea to take and check it. All right, and so now all I got to do, guys, is we're going to hit start, and we're going to see if this actually works, if it actually fits together. So let me look at these comments while that's working. I'll look at the comments because I'm looking up here for comments, down here for design, guys. So I'm not going to see comments when I'm highly mono focused. So Hobo, you's about to start a live. Sorry, guys. If you'd have texted me, I could have waited. I was just building this, and I'm like, you know what? I could share it. Some folks would be bored with it, but others might appreciate it. So, and if you appreciate this, let me know. Because if you're bored with it, you can let me know that too. But I like to know that what I'm putting out content, that people actually, appreciate it. Hobo said he may go live after I get done. Hey, that's cool. You can teach me something. I watched your gumball video the other day, and I was like, man, that is intense. That is intense. What's up, Chris? Have you ever cut on an angle miter fingered? Have you ever cut on an angle? Oh, no. I mean, you could make a jig and put it in a laser and do that, but I think you would be definitely limited on you'd either have to raise the machine up really high or be very limited on what size material you could use. Yeah, I get photobombed by cats a lot, guys. There's a ladder right behind the Rolly right there that goes up into that attic space where I store boxes, and that's where the cat bed's at. And so when the cats get ready to go to bed, they climb the ladder, and then they go up. They will not go through that black curtain. All it is a curtain, just so y'all don't have to see my nasty boxes and stuff I got stacked up there. They will not go through the curtain. They go around, and they go around the edge and go in the front, which is open. So, yeah, you'll see cats in the background a lot. And sometimes, guys, I'll be editing a video, and there'll be a cat sitting over there grooming itself with its legs straight up in the air. It's kind of embarrassing, really. But so if you ever watch one of my videos and you notice that suddenly I like pan over and I'm like almost zoomed in too far, it's because I'm trying to cut a cat out of the background that's over there grooming itself. Good day, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Nipta, Texas. Well, I'm glad you like it, foiled duck. Hello from Kansas. Well, I appreciate you. Glad you like it there, Gina. Like I said, this is not nowhere near a mechanical gumball machine, but it gives you a lot of the same idea. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to slow down just a little. Like I said, you can see that's I got a little bit, but this is a prototype. I just want to make sure my things fit, so that's good. It's better to find out now that I need to slow down, because this plywood is not my favorite. But it's always good to have a utility knife, because like with this one right here, it's just got one little snag right here, and I'm just going to score that just a little bit, and it'll pop out. The centerpiece came out, so we definitely need to back it down to at least 8. This stuff's tough. Now it's going to make a really good phone holder because it's not going to break, but it's tough. And it's like 2 little fibers here and there, and that'll annoy you. So that's why, like I said, I had never used this stuff on the Rolly, and that's one reason, guys, why I still got it, because I don't like it. You have to go so slow with it that it's painful. But it is very sturdy. So we got it out of there. All right. Once you get through messing with your machine and you reset it, it's not a bad idea, in case you forget when you're doing it later. If you're going to be doing something else, just hit the home button. Let it home. That way, everything's lined up. Let me get this little. See, it had that one little place right there is what was holding it. But we're going to slow that speed down before we start back in designing, so I don't forget. But I'm just prototyping, so I want to make sure if my calculations are correct, and there's a really good chance that they may not be. This piece should go through that hole snugly, and then this should sit. Let's test it. All right, I'm gonna need a phone. It could stand to be a little taller for my phone, and my phone's kind of small. But realistically, you don't want it to be too big. What do you think, guys? I mean, that's an iPhone SE. Yeah, I know. It's the cheapest iPhone they make. But I think if I go too tall, it's going to be, when it doesn't have a phone on it, it's going to be too big. What do y'all think? Should I make it taller, or should we just go with that? Because it holds it. And unless your phone is like that big, it shouldn't flip it over. So I think we're good on that. Anybody? All right. Looks good? Looks good? All right. So that part works. My measurements are right. Power and speed needs to go. It's awesome. You think it needs to go a little taller too? Well, good news is, guys, I could make it taller, but I can do. You can do versions. All right. So I'm gonna show you one way too. Once you get something built, you can always do variants, and I will be doing variants of this as well. I want to kind of break it up. It's a little plain. It's a little ice cream sandwichy. So I want to break it up. So we're going to do some tweaking to the design. But before that, we got to change these cut settings. So I'm going to set this one over here behind me. And then, and for you guys that may be thinking, oh, that Rolly's so weak it can't cut quarter-inch material. That's not the case. That's some really stubborn material. Look what I did last night. That's 3/4 inch pine, guys. 3/4 inch pine, 6 millimeters a second, 3 passes, clean drops. I didn't have to beat it out of there or nothing. I made myself a little, this is some This is just some scrap wood that I had laying around. And I was working on this other file, and it was a big, long file, 24 inches long. So I had to use the big machine. So I was like, while I'm here, I got lasers running. I was working on that file. I was just going to do some pine on the Rolly. But that's 3/4 inch pine. And I did sand it a little bit, but look how clean. I mean, I didn't sand the burn edge, but yeah, there you go. So I don't know what I need with another Clack Shack logo, but I got one. So don't doubt the power of the Rolly. It is actually really, really strong. This is some stubborn plywood. The other Revolution ply that I've got over there, it actually cuts a little better than this does. I almost think they put bamboo in this stuff or something. But, it's strong. So, back down to lightburn. Let's get back. All right, so we discovered that the cut speed may have been a little bit fast. So I'm going to knock that down to 8 for our next one we cut. And just make sure I go ahead and save that. Also, this is the point, guys, especially if you're not operating on a battery backup or if you're not on a laptop or whatever. If you're on a desktop computer with no battery backup, I strongly recommend that you take this next step. Before we get too heavily involved in this file, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit Save As. I'm going to go in here and I have a laser file folder and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch because most 1/4 inch material will work. Phone holder. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Save on that. Oh, my bad. Let me just put phone holder. It don't want me putting the / in there. So we'll just do it this way. All right, we'll do it that way. All right. So now I've got that saved. So which I've got 2 battery backups running. So if the power does go out here, my computer will stay running for quite a while. And so will my laser. I run my machine that I'm using as well as the lasers on a battery backup. One of them's right here beside me, and then one's in the floor. But that way I have at least enough time that I can pause, wait till it gets to a good stopping point or something, and stop it before I lose power completely. So another little tip you might want to look at. So this is a little plain. I want to dress it up. I want to add some more curves to it. This bottom, I think if it's flat like that, it could cause me some problems. So what I want to do now is kind of figure out how I'm going to go about making this look a little more appealing. 25 millimeters, I've got a 25 millimeter theme going here. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to unlock this. I'm going to create this little square. I'm going to unlock it. And I'm going to set that little square to 25 by 25. It's a theme I got here going. So, and then I'm going to take this little guy. And what I want to do is just basically use it using my 1 millimeter increments. And I'm going to zoom in. And that little dot right there basically will tell you where the center of your other design is. And guys, I nailed it. It's right on top of my line. So that's going to put me, having like basically 12.5 millimeters up there and down here. Then the next thing I want to do, select the small shape that I want to move first. Hold Control. Click on the outer shape that I want to align it with and align vertical centers. Now, once I do that, here's where some things are going to happen that could hang you up. If you just click this and you go down here and you hold Control and you click this, then you can go over here and take this one. This is a subtract, and it's going to do that. There's a problem. You see what that did? All right. And I know this is going to haunt people because Klein called me the other day because he had this problem going. You're going to want to ungroup all of this stuff first. That way, whatever you do to this line is not going to affect the rest of it. So I'm going to click that one, hold Control, click that one, then do the subtract. So little lesson for you right there, guys. Ungroup shapes before you start trying to use the Boolean, because if you don't, bad things can happen. Now, it's not always, but it can. So ungroup, before you do it. Or if you're trying to do something to it and it just will not cooperate, check see if it's grouped. All right, so next I'm gonna use my little radius tool. I don't know if this is gonna be enough room for this, but we're gonna try it. Nope. So we're gonna go to 10. We'll do a little 10 there. Oof. I don't know if I like the look of that. Let's see if it gets to looking better. Nope, can't do it there. No, I don't. I do not like the look of that. All right, so scratch that idea. That just looks weird. All right, so I think I'm just gonna leave a notch. I could go much smaller. Hang on. Let's see. I want to round those corners a little bit. 5. All right, let's see what that looks like. I could live with that. I could live with it. I think that's okay. No, don't like it. See, tells you guys there's going to be mistakes made, and that's what they use this little backup button right here. That's what that's for. When you make a mistake, you can just simply back it out of there. So maybe I'll just go with a, I don't know. Let's go with a circle. Maybe a circle will look better. I don't like the way that looked. I see some of you laughing about that. And I know you're thinking probably the same thing that I was thinking. But we're not leaving that shape sitting there like that. It looks bad. How about a circle? How about if I split a circle on there? I must have Snap turned on. I bet I do. I bet when I downloaded Rolly's file, they turned Snap on. Yeah, like I said, Chris, I know it's there. So I'm going to vertically align again, clicking on the middle one first. Yeah, I got Snap turned on. It keeps snapping everything to where it needs to be. So same principle, guys. You can click this one. Like I said, make sure it's just the outer line. Hold Control, click that one, and then use your subtract button. Yeah, that's good. It's still got round shape, but nothing too bad. So with this file, I'm going to go ahead and select all these pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and group them together because I'm going to leave this as this is going to be my base design right here. So if you wanted to do variants of this thing, oh, I forgot to duplicate. See, that's what happens when you're talking. You can just go over here, duplicate it, slide that over. And like now, if I wanted to reshape the top of this and I didn't want to reinvent the whole thing, you can actually come over here, create another box, square, whatever you want to create. And then you just simply click that one, hold Control, click that one. You can vertically align those guys. And then when you come in here, let's see if it does. Let's see if it'll weld it without jacking it up with it grouped. Let's try it and see. It may, since this is the way it is. Let's see. Yes, it did. All right. So you could literally put whatever shape you wanted to here. Like if I wanted, let's say I wanted to put a logo on it. And y'all know what logo I'm fixing to get if I can find it. I got too many folders. So if I wanted to put my logo on there, my logo is round. All right. So what I could do, of course, is reduce it to the point to where it'll fit on there like that, because get it small enough. Or if I wanted it to kind of look like it was added to it, what you can do, let me get it over here out of the way. I'm going to change that to a fill. This is another little tool. I'm going to click the outside edge of this thing. Open up this offset tool. Outer shapes only. Outward 1 millimeter. Make sure I got delete turned off. Okay. Change that to a cut. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to group it temporarily so that nothing moves. And then I could just basically go and center align this guy. Get it where I want it. Ungroup it. And now I can come in here. You see where this is our actual shape. This is my logo. So I can click that line there. This line here. Hold Control. Click this line here. and then I can add them together. And now this is actually part of the shape. So even if I turn off, like if I turn off my fill, I've modified the shape of it. So you can get creative. Once you build this main part of this thing, the main chassis, you can literally create variants of it. And all I got to do now is just take this little guy. I'll put it up here in the corner, and we'll start it burning. I'm going to turn these guys into a tool line while they're in my workspace, which I'm going to turn back on so you can see them. And I can go ahead and be burning this one while I'm still in here designing. So I'm going to go ahead. I homed my machine earlier, but I'm going to hit home again just in an abundance of caution. You don't want to damage your machine. Confirming that my settings are correct. We have not set the engrave speed, so we're going to reference one of the test grids that we did. So this is a test grid I did. I can tell you with this material, if you go too hot, you're going to get soot. You're going to get a lot of soot overlaid. So I want it to be this darker black because I do like that about this material, but I don't want to get a lot of soot off of it. So I'm going to land, let me get a pointing stick. This is my little sanding stick. So I'm going to land, I think, about right here, about 95% at 100, and we'll say 125. I think that's a good dark design, dark burn. Hopefully I won't get as much soot that way. So about 125, and coming up from here about 95. So 125 and 95 is what we're going to set that to. Back to lightburn. So back in settings, I'm going to go 125. My power, 95. Since this thing's got a really strong fan on top of the module, I think it'll keep it away from my air assist. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the air off to cut down on some of the charring. 254 is going to be a little much for what we're trying to accomplish. I'm going to go back to 127 with that on the LPI. I do want it filling all shapes at once. Bidirectional fill is on. Overscanning is on. 2.5%. We're close to the edge of the workspace up here, so if I go too high with overscanning, it's going to error out or cause some issues with that. So we're just going to leave that alone, and we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to the machine and let it be working on that for a few minutes. And we'll kind of go over some other options you have for this. So another thing you can do, guys, you can take, like I said, just duplicate this guy and drag it out there. And then any of these, like, let's say I wanted to, what if I got, do I have honeycombs in here? Honeycomb, anything? Wait a minute, I got a queen excluder. Hang on, let me find it. I've got a honeycomb design in here somewhere. Wait a minute, I got one of my Christmas stuff. All right, hang on. Christmas. I could have swore I had a honeycomb pattern somewhere. Oh, there it is. Honeycomb. All right. So I could actually take and get rid of some of this. I don't need all of it. Oh, didn't mean to get rid of all of it. Ungroup. I just want this pattern. That's all I want. So I could actually take, if I wanted, and create one with a honeycomb pattern in it. That would be cool. So I'm gonna go here, click here, align. Oh, wait a minute. Did it ungroup everything? Let's find out. No, it didn't. All right, so we're good. And now the trick is gonna be that these outer little shapes right here are gonna have to go somewhere. Like this little guy, gotta go. All right, that one, well, I could leave them. That'll make it round. Yeah, that'll make it look cool. So if you wanted to put like a honeycomb design on there, you could do that and put that in the middle of your project. Go back over here, turn all that into a cut, and now you got one that's going to have like a honeycomb pattern through it. Those are a little thin with it being that small, but you could. Let's see what else I got over here. See if I got any other good. Oh, wait a minute. There's an idea right there, guys. Hang on. Let's get this honeycomb out of here. That's an excellent idea. All right. Waha. I'm going to oversize it a little bit. Bigger than my piece. Just slightly. All right. Get it right there. Yeah, but that's not gonna. Let's do it this way. There we go. All right, so now I got an Alabama. Now I got an Alabama phone holder, and what it'll do is it'll basically cut the Alabama shape out of the middle of it. So y'all get the idea. I don't want to just keep sitting here just coming up with different stuff, but you get the idea. Now we'll cut that one out. But it's simple designs. All these tools, like I said, and if you're not using the art library, another thing too. And while we're in here, we'll go ahead and do this. This is in case you didn't know, this is your settings library for your machine. This one, as you can see, is named Rolly MK2. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this cut that we're using because that's the speed we decided. And I'm going to tell it to create a new one from a layer. And this is going to be the 4.7 millimeter sanded white. And it's, well, it's actually 4.8, wasn't it? 4.8. So let's change that back. That's 4.8. And so you put the material name in here. You can put the thickness in, and then just like, Lowe's plywood, and then hit OK. And what that's going to do is that's going to basically save those settings in here for you. And so I can also go back up here and create new from layer. It's going to do the same material. I'm going to go ahead, 4.8 millimeter, even though the thickness doesn't really matter when you're just engraving. I wish I'd used a different word. And we'll change that to engrave. All right. So, edit description. Cut. Okay. So now I have those settings, and if you're ever, working on another project, you're using the same material, you don't necessarily have to go looking for your material test now, because you can literally click that, and then like click this part right here, click that, and then, well, stand by. Let me get, click that, click the power. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta save first. Click that, open this, click cut, and then hit the assign button, and it'll assign it. I don't know, it may not work on tool lines. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it doesn't work on tool lines. So if I set it this color, then it would work. All right, see, learn something every day. So you go here, click on cut, hit assign, and boom, it assigns the speeds and stuff to it. So there you go. That's how that works. It's really handy to have, really handy to use, by the way. But anyway, guys. No, the machine is just fast, and it interacts with the material and makes noises. So see, that's what I like to see. I picked this piece up, the other one fell out. So we've confirmed that setting is correct. Now, the cool thing about the way that these pieces of material fit into that rolly, I'm actually just going to turn that design that I just did into a tool line, leave the one that I just got through creating in there, And I'm just gonna hit start because I know I put the material right back in the corner where it was because I used the honeycomb as kind of a jig. And I'm just gonna send the laser over there. It's gonna go right beside that one and it's gonna cut out the second prototype. So you can see this is what we come up with. And I did get a little bit of that dusty stuff, so I'm gonna blow it off real quick. If you use this stuff, I do recommend that blow it off before you start touching it. Because if it is soot, especially with this stuff, when you touch it, it's going to embed into the fibers of the material and you can't hardly get it off. So I think that's acceptable. Even with that little bit of soot that we got, I think that's acceptable. It looks pretty good. And the shape, see, I kind of superimposed that shape. Just kind of break it up and make it look a little different than just a, where's the other one at? Instead of it just looking like an ice cream sandwich. So now the cool thing is I can pull this little piece out of this one because it's the same part, and I can stick it in this one. And so now my Clack Shack phone holder, I can interchange these pieces. So technically, guys, you could have Christmas phone holder, New Year's phone holder, Easter phone holder, Memorial Day, whatever. And all you really got to do is cut the front piece. You could even, with these, if you wanted, engrave on the back, and you could make it reversible so that you could have something on the front and the back. And you can come in from the other side. Now, with this material, of course, the back's a different color, so that's going to be something you need to consider. But yeah, this is just a simple design, guys, using the tools that's in Lightburn. If you're not using Lightburn, I'm telling you, it's a really good software. And you can make cool things like this. And of course, I got my Alabama one coming as well. Sounds like it's finished. Watch these little shapes. Like, this is not that it ain't all the way cut. This thing's got, like, the Alabama has like a little foot down at the bottom that will hold pieces in place. See, I've got it in the right position. And see, now I got an Alabama refrigerator magnet if I wanted it, but I got plenty of those. And so, and I also have Alabama. So shut that down so it isn't quite as loud. So we have the third one. All right. Same thing. Take the little part out. I can just literally snap it into there. And it's still functional. It still holds the phone. But it has Alabama in there. And if you really wanted to get cute with it, guys, you could actually take this same shape, cut it out of acrylic or a different color wood, and do like an inlay. And you could even, you could even backlight it if you wanted to. But, simple little designs. If you're looking for something unique to make for people at work, you just want to learn your machine, you got some decent material. It's easy to come up with these little projects. Like I said, very simple, nothing fancy. You could make this as fancy as you wanted. If you wanted to put ivy trim around it and then actually cut it, whatever you want to do, you just take the tools and get it done. So let me turn this machine off for the moment. It's getting a little loud. All right, so let me go through these comments before we go. Before I let y'all go, I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody hanging on questions or whatever. But yeah, phone holders, guys, and whoop, interchangeable. I'm going to be making these for my daughter's teachers. So there's probably going to be an Apple one, musical instrument one because she has a band instructor. I'm just going to, maybe cut musical instruments in the back of it like that so that if it's on the desk, it just looks like it's something that's supposed to be decorative. So different, just use your imagination. All right, so let me check these comments before we go, guys. If you haven't already, please hit the like, follow, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Yeah, Hobo, if you're going to be putting a charger on it, yeah, you could definitely put holes in the back, in the bottom. You could technically come right here and cut a hole here to allow a cord to be plugged in from the bottom. You just got to add it to the file, guys. This is the way the file sits in there. just go right here, make the hole in the middle, which is pretty simple. But that's not a bad idea in case somebody did want to plug it in using a cord. That would allow them to do so. Like I said, use your imagination. Put the things the way you want to put them. But this is the basic. This is the basic. The concept is you start from an idea. You go to a scratch pad, and that was my play on words, guys. You know, file from scratch. It looks like a chicken scratched it, right? So you're making a file from scratch because literally that's what I did. Really design a Barony barn. Actually, Chris, I've actually got it about 50%. I don't have a barn, so. But yeah, Vince, like I said, everything that you can put, you can. Like I said, I don't use corded chargers, so that wasn't really something I thought about. But yes, that is definitely. And what I would probably do is just be half the hole, and you can even take and weld it to this one. Let's here. Back to lightburn for a second, guys. All right, so that's simple enough to fix. You can come in here. All right, we're gonna ungroup this for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and change it over to a cut. And I'm going to change all of this mess up here into a tool line just so it don't burn. And all you really got to do is right here, you can take, and since we know the size of our material, an easy way to do this to make sure your alignment is to draw you another tool line. All right, you want to change that tool line to 4.8 millimeters. And this is basically going to simulate the thickness of the material that we're using. And I'm just going to select that, use my little arrow buttons to move it down, get it somewhat close to where it needs to be. That gives you an idea of where this top piece is going to be resting on this material. Sorry guys, my OCD, I can't stand it. All right, there we go. All right, so that gives you an idea of where the material is going to be resting. So if you did want to put you a hole for the cord, then you can simply come in here, draw you a circle. We can make it 25 millimeters. I mean, why not? We've been going with 25 on everything else. 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters, hit enter. All right, change it to a cut. And you can bring that thing down, put it here. I think it's centering, but I'm gonna leave that one selected, hold control, select this side, and align it that way. And then I'm gonna hold this guy, and I'm gonna hold control again, click the tool line that I created, and I'm going to align it horizontal with the tool line. And so now basically what that's going to do is cut the hole half into right there. So you could even go here, take this little piece here that we just created, click that. Wait a minute, let me do this way, because that's probably just going to chop it into two pieces. So let me slide this up now that I got everything aligned. All right, so I'm going to click that one, then I'm going to hold control, click that guy. And then I'm going to use the subtract button again. And so now you've got actually like a little round hole right there below where the other piece is going to be resting. So yeah, little upgrade, little quick upgrade right there. And I'm going to duplicate, move that over here, change that guy back to a tool, and I can print that out. I'm going to hit my save button. So yeah, there you go. And we'll burn that right quick. All right, got to home the machine, of course, because I did power it down. Yep, half moons. Oh, y'all want to do half moons too? Hey, we can do it. We'll make this a community project. But yeah. One more variant here. We go back to lightburn. We'll move it back over for a second. We'll put you some handles on this thing. All right. Somebody said they wanted to see. Wait, let me start this first. Now that I've homed my machine, start that cut. All right, now I can change this guy over here and to a cut. If you wanted to have like recesses here, the way I would probably do that, we went with 25 millimeters on everything else, so we'll just go with I don't know, Heck, that actually looks pretty decent right there. Let's do it this way. So you can just go here, match that in. All right. One easy way to make sure you keep things lined up, duplicate it, and just use your arrows. Yeah, I got snap turned on. It keeps putting them. I should have probably turned that on a while back. All right, so now I'm going to group these two because I got two pieces I'm going to subtract from that one. So I'm going to group those two. Then I'm going to select this guy because that's the piece I want to remove it from. Then I'm going to hold control, select those guys, and unless I'm wrong, this should work. Yeah, there we go. And so if you wanted to have like grips on the side, that would be how you would do that. So anyway, enough of that, guys. Y'all get the idea. We'll do more later. But for those of you that wanted the cord slot, I did do the cord slot just to show you that my math was right. Cord slot shows from this side now, but it doesn't show back here because when we put it in there, if you look, it's made to where it is right there where it comes together at, and so you can actually see the material on the back. So you could, and you probably would need to make it a little bigger. No, that actually works. It wouldn't hurt for it to be out this way just a little further, but I could plug a cord up there and run it through here and then out through this little hole. So there you go, guys. There you are. So anyway, quick little idea for you if you're interested. But like I said, guys, I am not the master of this stuff. There's hundreds of ways to go about doing this stuff. So feel free to modify, use other people's techniques or whatever. And I think Hobo says that. I think Hobo, are you going to do a? Is he already gone? I think Hobo's already gone. But I think go check out Hobo's page. I think he said he's fixing to throw something up too. So if you're wanting to indulge yourself on some more lightburn skills, Hobo, what are you making? What you gonna make, Hobo? When are you gonna do it? How long do they need to wait? We got enough time for a bathroom break? Can we like work in a bathroom break? I kind of need one. Is this thing working? Maybe Hobo left. All right. Anyway, guys. There we go. All right. Anyway, go check out Hobo's page. Like I said, he's really handy with lightburn as well. He is also, I'm pretty sure he'll be using the Rolly as well. So if that's something you're looking at getting. Also, guys, if you're interested in the Rolly and you don't have a laser or you're looking at adding to it, I did add links down below to Rolly to let them know that their machine coming to me was not a waste, that I'm telling people about it. So if you want to go just look at the machine, look at the specs, see how much the price or availability is, you can use those links and let them know that Clack Shack sent you. And that helps me in the future, when people look at maybe sending me stuff to try out or share with you guys. But anyway, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Like I said, I just want to share that with you. And I had to get this design built so I could do those gifts for my wife. But till next time, y'all be safe. Have a good day. And go check out Hobo. He said he's fixing to go live here in just a minute, making a honeycomb shadow box. But you do have time for a potty break in between. So go check him out, guys. And y'all be safe. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by.